After years of economic growth in China, last year's figures showed that its GDP growth had reached its lowest level for almost 25 years. At a recent Black Coffee morning event, a panel of experts discussed what consequences these changes have had on domestic politics and on President Xi Jinping's leadership. Some believe the impact on China's economy is not as great as sometimes reported.
It's certainly slowing down. That was on the cards for quite a long time. If you look at the current 5-year plan, it in fact contained the figure of 7% growth for the end of the 5-year plan, and that, according to the official numbers, is roughly where we are. Miraculously, the reported performance usually meets what the target is. So yes, it's slowing down, but the important thing was that this was, if you like, a planned slowdown from an unsustainably high growth rate, which you had earlier in the century and again after the stimulus package of 2008. So yes, there is a slowdown, but this is not a reason for panic at all in itself. The question is how that slowdown is managed and whether the authorities can handle it so that you have a steady decline over, if you like, 6-month periods in China, with volatility within those periods, undoubtedly. But you can then reach, as it were, a floor of around 6% in 2017, and that will be the official target.
With these economic challenges currently facing China, the president's leadership skills are being tested.
Well, Xi is a strong leader. He's probably the strongest leader in terms of the exercise of power that we've seen since Mao Zedong. In fact, he's accumulated 7 top jobs that have been officially announced, and he's got others within the Communist Party which haven't been announced, but one can surmise that he occupies. But his position and the position of the party state which runs China has always depended on delivering economic growth. And the basic equation has been, to the people of China, we will give you material growth and leave the politics to us. And the whole question is, if the growth fell more than the people of China were willing to accept, whether this then brings into question the political deal and the political leadership and the one-party state.
Reforms in the Chinese market have been on the agenda for a while, but progress is stagnating.
China needs a reform to encourage the move away from dependence on heavy investment in property, in infrastructure and so on, which has been the big driver. But there's a limit to the number of 8-lane expressways that you can build, and the property sector has bottomed out, more leveled off. What you need is a big push in consumption and services to, if you were, take the lead. Plus you need innovation, you need companies which are more attuned to higher level production, more productivity, better added value, higher level technology and so on, to move away from the old equation of cheap labour, cheap capital and strong export markets, because labour is now more expensive, capital is more expensive too, and of course export markets aren't what they used to be. It is happening in ways, and this is accepted by the leadership. The Communist Party had a big meeting at the end of 2013 where they produced a huge reform document, 60-point reform document. So the need for this is recognised. The difficulty is that doing it is a very long and complicated process, and it involves politics in the sense that in China everything is concentrated on the Communist Party and the state which it runs, and you have to loosen that up and loosen those ties up in order to get meaningful reform. And so this faces the leadership with the big question, I think, for China. Are they willing to allow liberalization in the economy, which would have political implications to it? And the scaremongers would say, the anti-reformers would say, that will lead to the kind of Gorbachev situation that you saw in the Soviet Union.